Hey, welcome back to KA MMA. I'm Khalil Deal.
Mandio.
We are KA MMA about to talk about the early predictions for the main card for UFC 304 Edwards versus Mohammed 2 in Manchester, England.
All right, so opening up this main card portion of the card is going to be Arnold Allen against Giga Chikadze, Christian Leroy Duncan against Gregory Rodriguez Robocop, Bobby Green against Paddy Pimblett, Tom Aspinall against Curtis Blades, and finally Leon Edwards against Bilal Mohammed. So to start things off, Khalil Deal, Arnold Allen, and Giga Chikadze.
All right, man. This one's a tough one. I was literally going back and forth in this one. Arnold Allen's 19-3. Jiga's 15-3. Arnold Allen is from England, so I'm definitely leaning there. I like the fact that he's 30 years old to the 35-year-old Jiga. But Jiga's going to have a huge height advantage, man, at 6 foot to the 5'8" Arnold Allen. He's also going to have a 4-inch reach advantage, Jiga will. So it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see. I definitely like Arnold Allen's grappling more and his submissions more. He did lose his last fight to Movsar Evloev, and there's no shame in that. Movsar Evloev is a beast on the ground. He also lost to Max Holloway, and there's no shame in that. Max Holloway is a bad motherfucker. And then, of course, we've got he knocked out Calvin Kattar. He knocked out Dan
Oh, it
Hooker.
was a knee injury for Qatar.
That is true. The knee injury, that's right. He knocked out Dan Hooker, though, and he beat Sadiq Youssef, which is a big deal there. Sadiq Youssef is pretty fucking good. Jiga, on the other hand, he did win against Alex Caceres by unanimous decision, but he did lose to Calvin Kattar. I know the MMA math is not something that we want to look at, but I think it's important where Arnold knocked out Calvin Kattar and Jiga lost to Calvin Kattar by unanimous decision. He did beat Edson Barbosa by knockout, though. He did knock out Cub Swanson and Jamie Simmons, but it's a tough one. Definitely Jiga is good, but I'm going to go with a slight lean on Arnold Allen here to get the win. With the more takedowns, the better grappling. I think he's going to be better on the ground, and he's got some submission threat there with his 19 wins. We're looking at a total of 4 submissions, 7 knockouts, 8 decisions. So very well rounded, but he's good on the ground, So I like the fact that he could get the Jiga on the ground. Jiga is more of a striker, so it's more of a grappler versus striker here. I'm going to go with the grappler Arnold Allen to get the win by sub or decision. I think the sub is live in this one because when Jiga gets taken down, he gets up, he gives up his back. So I think that that's a possibility for Arnold Allen to get his back there and get a submission. So I got sub or decision for Arnold Allen. Who you got here?
Yeah, he hasn't been all that active, Giga Chikadze. He's one of those guys that hasn't really lived up to his expectations, I don't think. And he's older now, so I don't think he's going to keep up with Arnold Allen's pressure. I think it's going to catch up to him later in the fight. So we see he did beat Alex Caceres and Barboza, but he lost to Calvin Kattar there. But since 2021, May, he's only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights. So we're not talking an especially active guy. And I always thought he looked kind of chinny. And I thought that, man, this guy's going to get knocked out more later in his career. But either way, I don't think he's going to be able to stop the takedowns or the pressure. And I think it's going to be a knockout or decision for Allen.
All right, nice. We are in agreement with the first fight of the main card. All right, so
But
let's.
he always has that giga kick, which has caught some people if you're looking for a prop, maybe.
That is true. All right, let's move on up to the next fight. We got here Christian Leroy Duncan against Gregory Rodriguez. This is another tough one. This is another tough one here, man.
All right, so Yeah, it kind of tough, but I'm gonna go with Leroy Duncan here to get the hometown win. I think he has a lot less miles on him. I think he's the crisper, more technical striker. I think he's the far better athlete. For RoboCop, I think, man, we got to start looking for when the chin is going to start to go. They both, in my opinion, face relatively the same kind of level of competition lately. If you look at Duncan here, he beat Claudio Ribeiro. That was his latest win, which is all right. But then he did beat Dennis Tulululin. Not that great. Dusko Todorovic, not much to say about him. And if you want to compare that to who RoboCop fought lately, RoboCop did fight uh, Brad Tavares, who he ended up beating, and we both don't think much of Brad Tavares these days. I don't believe he beat Dennis Tulin himself, and he beat Chidi Nokoani. I don't consider that a crazy win, but that's the best of the bunch since the one before that was against Julian Marquez, right? So this to me, if you got to go with a younger guy with less mileage and that took less of a beating. That's what it comes down to. What about you, Khalil Deal?
Yeah, man, I'm definitely going back and forth with this one. I gotta say though that Gregory Rodriguez right now is currently a dog. I definitely have him on the dog list. We'll talk about that on Friday for the betting, but he's currently a dog if the line doesn't move. But yeah, the reason why I'm going to go with Christian Leroy Duncan, it's more for a simple reason of the 4-inch reach advantage that he's going to have, and the fact that he's younger at 29.
Yeah.
They are the same height, but the 4-inch reach advantage I think is going to play an extremely important factor in this fight because RoboCop likes to come at you and move forward. Christian Leroy Duncan likes to move around, keep his distance, and I think that with this 4-inch reach advantage, he's going to be able to strike at distance, land some hard strikes on Gregory Rodriguez, who leaves a lot of his face open to get hit. The thing that worries me though is that Rodriguez has takedowns and he has grappling, and he will be the better grappler in this. But we
It,
don't see Gregory using a lot of offensive grappling.
yes, that's what I was gonna say. It's like you'd like to see him use it more, but I don't think he will, right? But he does have the better submission ability, sure, but he loves to keep it standing, and
That's it. He does have the submission ability and he does have grappling, which is what worries me. I do think Christian Leroy Duncan will be able to fend off some of the takedowns, and I think if he stops the takedowns on Rodriguez, I think Leroy is better on the feet. I think he's just a more polished and a more precise technical striker, a better
and,
boxer.
and he does use his reach pretty well, so I think you're right about that too. I
He
think
does use his reach well, and I think that he'll be able to land some kicks. He'll be able to land some good punches straight down the pipe at distance. I think he'll move around the cage a lot, bounce around, and nail him, punch him, bounce around, punch, and I think that that's how he's gonna, outpoint him. I'm just worried about the takedown, but if he can fend off the takedowns, or if he can lure Rodriguez into fighting his type of fight, which is a more of a striking match, then he'll get the win. I got the slight lean for Leroy Duncan to win by knockout or decision. I do think that Gregory Rodriguez does get rocked a lot in his fights. His chin is suspect. We've seen CLD beat Claudio Ribeiro by knockout. He also knocked out Dennis Tululin, as you said. He did lose to Armin Petrosian. There's no shame in that. He did knock out Dusko Todorovic and knocked out Marian Dimitrov. So he is a knockout guy, and Rodriguez is, he could get knocked out. He did his last fight. Rodriguez did knock out Brad Tavares and Tululin as well, but he got knocked out by Bruno Ferreira. So I think that he is able to be knocked out, and he did knock out Chitty Bang Bang and Julian Marquez. So he's very dangerous, Rodriguez, of course. I just want to see his 5 losses. Are they all by knockout?
that's all the same level of competition to me, since we said it twice.
Okay, so out of his 5 losses, he lost 3 times by knockout. So 3 knockout losses and 2 decision losses. So I definitely think that Christian Leroy Duncan could get a knockout here. And like you said, we have to start seeing at some point the chin's not going to hold up for Rodriguez at some point. It can't hold up forever. And Leroy Duncan punches very hard. So, yeah, CLD is the pick. I got him winning by KO or decision in this one. All right. Let's move on up to the next fight. Oh, yeah, we got Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett. King, he's now called King Green. He changed his name recently. So, man, this is a tough one. I'm really, really, really not sure. I'm really, really not sure. Right now, I'm just thinking about, man, this is a tough one. Because I'm worried about Paddy Pimblett. He does have some grappling and he does have submissions. Paddy Pimblett is a dog currently right now. I think he's a very good dog. Shit, man. Let me see who.
I'll throw in my 2 cents. I'm gonna have to go with the younger Paddy Pimblett here. I think he has something to prove. He's gonna come in there with a chip on his shoulder. He hasn't faced the greatest competition, which he'll get to, but I don't feel Bobby Green is consistent enough these days. I'm not going to say, he's so much younger than Bobby Green, because age doesn't really seem to be a factor with Bobby Green. I think he's going to be able to implement his grappling. It may take him a while to get it down there because Bobby Green can be difficult to take down, but I think he may catch him with something a little awkward on the feet, like avoiding that Philly shell, end up getting him down in the middle of the fight, towards the end of the second, and then pretty much running away with the decision there. That's what I think
I'm
here.
gonna say that Paddy Pimblett could, he could win by decision or submission because he does have a better ground game than Bobby Green. But I'm gonna have a slight lean to King Green in this one, and
In green.
the reason why is more because of the fact that what if Paddy Pimblett can't take down Bobby Green? And Bobby Green is good on the feet. Bobby Green sucks you in when he keeps his arms down. It's going to lure Paddy Pimblett into trying to advance towards him and get into a striking match with King Green, which you don't want to do, is to get into a striking match with King Green.
He's going to have to look to crowd him up, that's for sure.
I think that Bobby Green is a little bit stronger than Paddy Pimblett. I think he hits harder than Paddy Pimblett. And I just think he's more unorthodox, and his crazy unorthodox way of fighting is going to confuse Paddy Pimblett a bit. Again, I do think Paddy Pimblett's a good dog for the betting, but I'm going to go with Bobby Green in this one. His last fight was really good against Jim Miller. Won a unanimous decision there. He did lose to Jalen Turner, where he got knocked out. He did knock out Grant Dawson. He did sub Tony Ferguson. Paddy Pimblett has been really doing well in the UFC, but the people he's fought haven't been the greatest. I mean, Luigi Vendramini, Rodrigo Vargas, Jordan Levitt, Jordan Levitt's probably the best one in there. Jared Gordon,
Not good.
Tony Ferguson, very old when he fought him. So, I think that Bobby Green's fought the better fighters. I think I got a slight lean on Bobby Green winning this one by KO or this. I think he's going to catch Paddy Pimblett with a hard punch and maybe knock him out or get a decision for just outstriking him. But I still think Bobby Green has to get a finish in this one, because if it does go to the scorecards, Paddy Pimblett is loved by everybody in England, in the UK and England and stuff like that. So if it goes to decision, there's an easy robbery for Paddy Pimblett, even if Bobby Green is winning or seems to be winning the fight. So Bobby Green is going to have to get a knockout or really win, like really impressively, so that they can't rob him of the win. So I'm going to take Bobby Green with not much confidence, but
Yeah,
it is a good dog.
I don't think he's getting the knockout against Pimblett.
All right, moving on up the card. So we're in disagreement in that fight. Next, we got Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades. Who you got here, Andio?
So here, I will be taking Curtis Blades.
What?
This is my dog play. This is what I'm hoping for. Tom Aspinall never won a fight beyond like the first round. I'm hoping that Curtis Blades, who's the better wrestler, comes in there with that goal in mind. I'm going to be the old Curtis Blades. Like, I know Tom Aspinall is good. He's going to be at home. But I have a little theory about Curtis Blades. Now, this is all especially if he didn't fall in love with his hands. But the only people who have been able to knock out Curtis Blade, and yeah, that's 4 times, are the hardest hitters out there. We got Ngannou twice, we got Pavlovich, and we got Derek Lewis, the all-time knockout champ. I don't consider Tom Aspinall to have that power. If that theory holds, Blades is going to be able to withstand Aspinall's power shots. And if he gets on top of him early and often, Tom's going to run out of gas. We haven't seen Tops. We haven't seen Tom's game when he's on his back in a very long time. I'm saying that Curtis Blades is going to about to show us, and he's going to extend this fight a little bit, and he's going to come away with a victory by knockout, I say.
Wow, that is a very ballsy move there, Andy O, man.
All about the balls.
You definitely got balls the size of grapefruits there, man, to pick that, man. I got to go with Tom Aspinall in this one, man, the hometown guy in England, out of Liverpool. This dude is he's always been amazing ever since, until he got that knee injury there. And ironically, against.
Yeah, we're going to go 2-0 for Blades, baby.
Ironically, against Curtis Blades, he had that knee injury. I think he's going to want to come back and revenge this fight.
I don't think he holds it against him.
No, but I mean, he was upset that he lost because of that. The comeback, the what he had to go through to rehabilitate himself to get back in the fighting game. If you saw his story on UFC, it was on not too long ago. They talked about Tom Aspinall's story.
I didn't. Did you?
Yeah, I saw it, and he really went through a lot to come back.
Is it good?
Is it very good? Very good. And he really he went through a lot of adversity. He almost thought he wasn't going to make it back again and fight again after that injury. But he came back. He fought hard. He rehabilitated himself and got a nice knockout win against Marcin Tybura when he came back. And then he also knocked out Sergey Pavlovich, who we thought that would have never been able to do that, and he did it. So he does have power in his hands. Curtis Blades has been knocked out before by Pavlovich.
By the strongest, most powerful.
But you got to think about this. Pavlovich knocked out Curtis Blades. Tom Aspinall knocked out Pavlovich. I mean,
And they made math.
So again, I think that Tom Aspinall is the better fighter. Yes, if Curtis Blades does use his wrestling, he could be good. But
look, man,
when does he use the wrestling?
Well, look, man, he uses wrestling all the way up until recently.
I didn't see him use much wrestling against Jairzinho Rozenstruik in that fight.
Go back. He stopped using his wrestling. If I were just to look at it off the top of my head here, he
used a little against Chris Daukaus.
He stopped using his wrestling against Derek Lewis, I think. Yeah, that's where he stopped using his wrestling.
But the fight against Jailton Almeida, okay, now if everybody watched that fight, okay, that was Jailton Almeida's fault that he lost that fight. He couldn't let go of the fucking single leg, and all Curtis Blades had to do was hammer fist the shit out of his head while staying on the ground, holding his fucking legs.
That doesn't mean that Jailton would have won. No, Curtis Blades was just smart, in that fight.
I think if the fight would have stayed on the feet, Almeida could have won that fight, but he just wasn't fighting properly. He was going for the legs and the takedowns too much in that fight and would not go. He would not go his leg.
You must think very lowly of Blades striking because the only thing Jailton looks for is to get it down to the mat, right?
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is that Curtis Blades, if it wasn't for Almeida making that mistake of holding on to his leg the whole time and just getting hammer fisted to the head, he might have been able to do better and win that fight if he would have stayed striking a bit more and then used his striking to lead into the takedowns. And I think Tom Aspinall will do that in this fight. I think Aspinall, he's very good at striking. He's good on the feet. I actually think Tom Aspinall is a better striker than Curtis Blades. But
I think he is too.
I'll definitely give you that Curtis Blades is better wrestler. Look, Tom Aspinall, he's no slouch on the ground, man. This guy is
he's more athletic. I'll give you that overall. He has faster striking. He is a better striker for sure. He has better submissions. Let's not forget. But yeah, I'm going out on a limb here, but I think this is make or break time for Curtis Blades, man. Especially if Tom Aspinall knocks him out, because that would be the fifth time he gets knocked out. And who's he going to fight after this? Like I'll feel sorry a bit for Curtis Blades if he loses his fight. But if he beats Tom
Yeah.
Aspinall, like the heir apparent to fight like John Jones for the belt or whatever, right? It's a big win for him too. So I'm looking for a good fight.
Listen, I don't like Curtis Blades' chin. All four of his losses have come by knockout. I really think Tom Aspinall could land something there, get a knockout or a ground and pound. I don't think it's going to look good for Curtis Blades. I just don't think the matchup's good. I got Tom Aspinall winning this one at home. All right, and I think he's going to win by knockout or by knockout. I'm going to stick with the knockout.
I say late round two, knockout for Curtis Blades.
I'll be very surprised. All right, so we're in disagreement in that one. Now we are coming to the end here. We are coming to the main event of the main card, and we got Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. I gotta go with Leon Edwards, man. I gotta go with my boy Leon Edwards.
Your boy now. Oh,
This guy's been doing really good as of late. He's going to be the younger fighter at 32 years old, 36 years old for Bilal Muhammad. He's getting up there in age. I like the fact that Leon Edwards is going to have a 3-inch height advantage at 6'2" to the 5'11". He's also going to have a 2-inch reach advantage. I think Leon Edwards is better on the feet. I think he's a better striker, a better boxer. He's got good kicks. I think Bilal Muhammad is decent too. I think he's not bad on the ground. I think that that's where Bilal will be better than Leon is on the ground, and he's going to have to take down Leon Edwards, because if he doesn't take down Leon Edwards, he's going to be in some trouble.
so you're going against what you usually do by taking the grappler in these types of matchups.
I know. I just the reason I'm not going for the grappler in this one is because Leon Edwards' takedown defense is very amazing. The guy's
I
got,
agree.
I think it's like in the high 70% takedown defense. Leon Edwards beat Colby Covington, and Colby Covington's a crotch sniffer. That's all he does, and he was able to not get taken down by Colby and beat him by unanimous decision. He also beat Kamaru Usman, another good grappler, another guy who was taking him down a lot in that fight. He kept getting up Leon Edwards. He kept fighting, and he's got good get-up game. Also against Nate Diaz, where he beat him by unanimous decision there. Bilal, who's he really beaten? He beat Gilbert Burns by unanimous
Guys,
decision.
bro.
Sean Brady, he knocked him out. Vincente Luque, he beat by decision. Wonderboy Thompson, he beat by decision. And Damian Maia. I think, you know what?
Well, you could go back to Curtis Millender for the start of his winning streak.
You know what though? You know what I'll say? I'll say that Bilal is a good dog, and I definitely will think about him in the dog picks for on the betting show. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that Bilal is a good dog there. I just don't think he's going to be enough to take out Leon Edwards. I just don't think he's going to be able to take him down. And I think Leon Edwards, once he stuffs those takedowns, Bilal's not that good on the feet. And I got Leon Edwards outstriking him and hurting him. So I got Leon Edwards winning this one by knockout or decision.
Yeah, if you're a fan of meritocracy, you got to love this fight, like a deserving challenger in Muhammad against the former like ultra deserving challenger who's finally champion Edwards. I'm gonna have to go with Leon Edwards as well.
Nice.
I don't think he's gonna get him down very easily. I think he's gonna try. I think the bigger cage, as opposed to like the small cage, is gonna play to Leon Edwards.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not in the apex here, so there's a lot of room for Leon to move around.
He's going to move. He's going to be able to use his footwork here. I like his combinations a lot more. He's by far the better striker. The thing with him, he doesn't have enough volume, but he really has a plan for his striking, the way he planned for that high kick on Usman that put it away. Thing with Bilal, though, he's slow, though, man. I think he's slow, and I think Edwards' speed advantage is really going to be apparent here. I still think it's going to be a tough fight, a long fight. It's probably going to go to decision, but I'm going to give it like 4-1 for Leon Edwards.
Yeah, man. So we are in agreement with that fight. We did disagree with the Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blades. I think you're really using some huge balls there to take Curtis
I
Blades.
think I'm nuts.
Bobby Green and Paddy Pimblett we disagreed on, but the rest we agreed on in the main card. So not a bad card, man. Arnold Allen. I gotta say, that's one where we agreed on. I think that one's a very tough one to decide.
I think I'm more confident in that one than you.
Yeah, I'm very worried about Christian Leroy Duncan and RoboCop, but I do like Duncan. But yeah, King Green and Paddy Pimblett, I'm not confident in the win by King Green, but I think somehow he does something crazy and gets the win and upsets everybody in England there.
Maybe he'll get himself disqualified or something like that.
Yeah, that could happen too. Anyways, there you have it, folks. Our early predictions for the main card. Like and subscribe, and let us know if you like our picks and our predictions.
And don't forget about the betting video and the ceremonial weigh-in picks video on Friday.
Yeah, baby, KMMA.